All right. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's probably not morning when you're watching this, but it is morning when I am recording this. So, today we're just going to give you a quick review of stuff that we did in class, but obviously your test is coming up next week, so we thought it was important just to hash stuff out and talk about it again. Right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is graphing in standard form. Given a line in standard form, can I graph it? The thing we're going to talk about after that is, given a line in standard form, can I convert it to slope intercept form and then do something with it, right? So first thing, when I'm graphing here in standard form, if you look at the example that we have here, 3x minus 4y equals 12. Remember, the two things that I'm always looking for, oops, I'm on the wrong tool here, are the x-intercept and the y-intercept, right? Once I have those two things, I can place them on my picture, draw a line to connect them, and I'm good to go, right? So remember, in order to find the x-intercept, we plug in that y is equal to 0, which essentially, in turn, please excuse my dog barking, makes that term go away. So I end up with 3x equals 12. All I have to do at this point now, right, divide both sides by 3, I get x equals 4. So my next step after that is I come over to my picture, I find x equals 4, and I put a dot there. For my y-intercept, remember, this is where, so my x-intercept is where y is 0, your y-intercept is where x equals 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x. Again, that makes this term disappear. Don't forget about the negative, right? This is where people make some mistakes. They forget about the negative, right? And so they end up with the wrong sign of the intercept in their final answer. So here, after that, I just divide by negative 4, and I get that y is negative 3. So I come down here to negative 3, I put a point, and then my final answer here, all I have to do is connect those guys, and don't forget to draw some arrows to connect them. Right, so that's your basic example, right? So I figured I would have one more, right? One more here for us. But if I go back actually, right, just remember the biggest thing is don't forget about the negative, right? The second thing I'm going to go over in the second example is the cover-up method, which is something we also talked about. But overall, this is the default method that will always work. So if I go to the next one, if we come up with another one, let's say something like 2x plus 6y equals 12, right? So the cover-up method, let me see here if I can do this here, says, right, if I'm looking for the x-intercept, all I have to do is look at one thing at a time. So when I'm looking for the x-intercept, I just look at the 2x, I forget about the 6y, right? So for my x-intercept, right, I just have my 2x equals 12, divide by 2, x equals 6. Come over here to my picture, looks like I have the perfect amount of dots for that, right? And then for my y-intercept, I end up doing the same thing, right? All I do is look at the 6y. Come over here again, I have 6y equals 12, divide by 6, I get y equals 2. So come up here to 2, and then again, same deal. Draw the arrows, draw the line, and connect them. Now it's important to remember as well that this is a coordinate point, and this is a coordinate point. So don't forget, those are coordinate points. Right, so there's your two examples of graphing stuff in standard form. I hope that's a quick memory refresher, right? This is stuff that we talked about before, but I hope it's helpful in refreshing your memory. Right, so the last thing that we're going to be able, or that we're going to expect you to do, right, is to convert, right? So we're going to expect you to convert to slope intercept. Now, one of the biggest keys here is remembering what is slope intercept form, right? So remember that slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b, right? Standard form is my ax plus by equals c, but let's go through an example and we'll see how we do here, right? So I'm actually going to pick this first one, 2x plus, or sorry, the second one, 2x plus 6y equals 12, right? So step one, if I write my steps over here, is going to be move the x term to the other side, right? So the first thing I'm going to do for my step one is I'm going to subtract 2x from this side and subtract 2x from this side. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make, right, on my left side, all I have left over is 6y, which is what I want. But people make a mistake and they combine these, right? They combine these even though those are not like terms, right? One of those terms has an x, one of those terms does not. So this guy is left here stuck at, whoops, the 12 doesn't have the negative, right? At 12 minus 2x. I can't do anything with it, right? So now if I try and color code this for you, we'll go blue here. Step two, divide by the coefficient, vocab, in front of y. So in this case, remember, coefficient is just the number that is in front of your variable. So here for my step two, I'm going to divide by 6. And I'm going to divide everything by 6. That's the key, right? So when I do that, obviously I'm just left with y. Whoops, I hit the button. Y on this side, 12 over 6 is 2. Negative 2 over 6 is negative 1/3. So I'm almost done, right? Almost done. Remember though, with slope intercept form, whoops, we want the x term to be first, right? So my step three, we'll do this in hot pink. Here we go, right? Step three is going to be rewrite your right side. So for my step three here, all I have to do is move the negative 1/3 x in front and the 2 to the other side. Right. So I hope that was helpful. These are the two things we're going to expect you to be able to do. We're going to expect you to be able to graph in standard form, and we're going to expect you to be able to convert from standard form to slope intercept form. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. If you're still confused, please reach out to Mrs. Bottaro or myself so we can set up some time that we can talk about this. All right.